Okay, I don't know if I have enough hands for this, but so I took the Murica Blaster, which is what I dubbed it, to a Nerf battle, and it did okay. But by the end of the day, it was making a lot of weird noises and bad sounds. And after taking it apart, I discovered that one of the flywheels was definitely not set up properly. That's orange material that's burned onto it, and you can see on the cage where it's actually etched the cage some. Some. So I did actually order some worker flywheels to replace them anyway. So I took this thing apart because I want to get it up and working. I thought about doing a complete rewire, but the wiring I think is okay for this, basically. And just did a quick test. So if I connect this, start up, and boom, darts get shot out. And that's just on a couple double A's. So far so good. I'm gonna put it back. So after installing the cage and trying to run some tests with alligator clips, the wheels were not spinning, and what I noticed is that hopefully you can see it here. The worker, the flywheels were actually catching here. I think just there, not on the other side. I think the other side. Sorry, this is very difficult to do. It was okay. It's a little dusty in there. I'll probably blow it out. That's from the previous flywheel. But I think this, sorry, this is definitely a problem, so I'm going to have to sand this down a little bit and try again. So I said it before and I'll say it again, working on this blaster almost broke me. The only thing is I can imagine is that this, this mini modulus frame is just so tight that everything, the specs for everything are so tight in here that trying to make any changes were just very difficult. So I had to do a lot of cutting. I had to grind these flat here, and then I also had to grind grooves here because the wiring is really tight along here. The spacing between this wiring and the top of the shell, there's like no free space. So I also had to do a complete rewire because the wire I was using was this thick, like 18 gauge or 16 gauge, I can't remember, but it was multi-strand and just the strands were going everywhere. I mean, it was just a mess, and I could not, it was not flexing and everything. I mean, I was getting stuff like that, so I just had to completely redo it. So I put all new single strand wiring in it, wired everything up. It all runs very smooth. The space, if you can see it, the spacing is good there. The soldering is a lot better, and I was actually able to get the motor covers on, which fit okay, and I think once I get the shell, they're not going to go anywhere. So, and those are the new, I don't think you'll be able to see them, but those are the new worker flywheels. It does work. Yeah, unfortunately, I only don't have enough free hands, but runs up really nice. It sounds a little rough, but I think it'll sound better once it's closed up. It does shoot darts. We'll show that in a minute. So now I'm going to close the thing back up and hopefully never open this again. So after several rewires, the Murica Blaster is finally done. It runs pretty well on IMR batteries, not the high-end ones. It tends to burn the darts, but let's take a few shots. This is shooting AccuFig darts, 10-round magazine. Oops. I don't know how much of that you'll be able to see. And then elite darts, just got 6. They tend to pinwheel a lot, so I'm just going to fire a few of them. Let's take a look. Each one of these dividers is 10 feet, so that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I'm starting to see the AccuStrike darts at 60. These are the ones I fired basically flat. There's one here, 70 here, getting up to 80. You're starting to see some of the elites at 90, and then right around 100, you see all the elites kind of landed, actually, a lot of them landed fairly close, and then all of the AccuStrike darts landed in a pretty nice grouping. This is also the first time I've used a camera mount on the blaster, so hopefully this came out pretty clear, but we're looking at 100, 110 feet with AccuStrike darts, which is pretty good. I'm very happy, and I think I am done messing with this thing. Yay!